Welcome to MMA Fancast. And I am excited to have first time guest of the show, Geoff Magin on the show. Geoff, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
I'm excited to have you on the show. We were talking right before we started recording that I actually got to sit cageside and commentate on your first ever amateur MMA fight, your debut a couple years ago. But it was what you did last week, just a few days ago, 5-6 days ago, on Saturday for New Line Cagefighting that brought you on the show today. So let's start there. You went down there to Bridgeport and had an incredible fight last weekend. So let's talk about that for New Line Cagefighting 16. You fought a guy, you were coming into the fight, you fought a guy who had a good amount of experience. And walk us through the fight. It didn't last long. You put on an absolute dominant performance. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I took the fight on about 9 days' notice. We were really happy to get a fight finally. It was about 14 people that we've asked so far for a fight, and they've all declined. So we jumped right on it and got all the blood work, paperwork in, and then got the fight. I saw a little bit of film on him. He was a kickboxer, and that was fine by me. I was prepared wherever the fight went. And yeah, after those two head kicks I blocked, I just decided to take it to the ground and end it, really.
That you did. You definitely did that. And it was a very exciting fight. I'm glad now that you're 3-1, obviously, even as a 2-1, that's advanced amateurs in Pennsylvania. I'm glad not only that you got an impressive win, but it is tough. For people that don't understand, amateur fights, there's no money involved. I mean, there's some if you sell tickets and stuff, but generally speaking, there's no money involved. And so there's no disadvantage for an amateur to turn down like what you've experienced, people turning down you. Now, I know your nickname is Juice. We're going to talk about the fight, but when I saw you Saturday, and it had been a couple years since I'd seen you fight, I immediately said to my friend who was there with me, also works, helps me with MMA Fancast, that you look like Captain America. So before I just start calling you Captain America, why is your nickname Juice? And will you consider going by Captain America?
So that's an old gym joke. From when I first started, I was 19 when I first came, and they started calling me that. But yeah, it's been a couple of years. I was 20 the last time you saw me, just turned 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, being at this Pitt wrestling program, being in the weight room a lot more, definitely put on some size, and no longer a skinny 185er.
Clearly not. I guess that's the difference. I mean, you were impressive. The fight I saw your debut, you won by knockout. It wasn't impressive, but your physique has really come a long way. You were talking about wrestling at Pitt. Is that still going on? And how connected are you to James Leto, who's also a Pitt wrestler who also trains at Stout Pittsburgh? Kind of talk about that.
So yeah, I'm still wrestling at Pitt. I got one more year left, and they've been awesome. The coaching staff is amazing, and all the training partners are studs. We had a national champion this year at 197, Dorsey, so shout out to him. Yeah, but just training with those guys every day is the best preparation you could ever have. James Leto is one of my main training partners too, at Pitt and at Stout PGH. And there'll be some days when we're practicing in the morning, lift in the afternoon, and then go to MMA at night. So we spend a lot of time together and do a lot of really good training.
Yeah, that's that brotherhood there. Not only training for wrestling, but also doing MMA. What's your weight class of wrestling? Because obviously you mentioned the national champ at 197. Is that your weight class for Pitt?
That was my weight class, unfortunately.
Well, listen. It's unfortunate to have to be training in the room with the future national champ, I'm sure. And I think he was high ranked the year before. I was looking at him. I think he's been a well-known guy. Is he now graduated and out? Are you battling for starting position? Not that it matters, because I've talked to James Leto. Being in the room of a D1 wrestling program, getting that experience is what's really helping in MMA. Sometimes starters at the freestyle wrestling doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be dominant in MMA. So talk a little bit about what next year looks like for you for the Panthers.
Yeah, so I have nothing but good things to say about Nino. He was a beast and helped me out when he was at Pitt. But yeah, he's graduated now, so I'm looking to break into the lineup this year. Yeah, it's my last year, last shot at it. So I definitely like to compete more and be in that starting 10.
Sure. Of course, and that's the competitive nature. I mean, you are an MMA fighter and a D1 wrestler, so obviously being the starter, I do know that all wrestling programs, you'll go to open tournaments where everybody wrestles through, and it doesn't matter if you're the starter, not only in duels, doesn't matter if you're the starter. So you're still getting D1 wrestling experience all the time, which is obviously incredible. Walk us, we've been bouncing around. It's awesome having you on for the first time of what I hope is many. Walk us through the finish. You finished him on the ground. It was dominant. You got a takedown. He was a kickboxer. You mentioned he threw two very fluid, very nice head kicks. You obviously blocked them. You took him down. Walk us through that finishing cycle once you got him to the ground.
So we've been working a lot of guard passing from takedown within the past like 2-3 months. That's been a focus of Stouts. So I knew exactly what to do once I got side control. And then it was just a matter of holding that mount while he was trying to bridge and then just landing the hard shots. I was thinking about going for a submission, but I could hear Mike Wilkins in my corner yelling out, "Finish him here." So I had to listen to the general.
Yes, I love Mike Wilkins, and we've talked to some of his fighters before. Obviously, Stout PGH is a huge gym, super important, has multiple locations. But I don't think you've ever experienced this because you're a dedicated, focused fighter. But Coach Mike Wilkins, who's the current reigning coach of the 247 Awards, which I know you know, and Stout Pittsburgh is the gym of the year to the 247 Awards for 247 Fighting Championships. But Coach Mike Wilkins has in MMA fights, if a fighter is not listening to him, he's been known to turn his back on the fight. I know you know about this because it's legendary. Does that motivate you to follow his requirements and orders a little bit more? Have you seen him turn his back if a fighter is not listening to his advice? Because that is, talk about cornering, that is intense.
I've never experienced it firsthand or seen him do it, but I've heard the story. I think that's pretty funny.
I've seen it. Yeah.
But I have a lot of faith, so I definitely hear him in the corner, and
absolutely, he's incredible. So is Coach Will and everybody, and obviously that's kind of part of his coaching mentality. But it does make sense, right? We see that even at the highest level, UFC level, we've seen how important it is when a fighter, like a classic situation, picking up an opponent and taking them over to your corner. You know, we've seen that happen because when you can hear what your corner is calling you to do, it typically brings about victory sort of in an outside perspective. They can see things that you can't see. You've finished people before, you've had finishes before, whether it's striking or submissions. To you, would you rather get a submission? Is that where your brain goes because of all your wrestling and BJJ? Or would you rather get a striking? Or is it just going to be you want to finish because that's what's going to help you advance the most?
it's going to be whatever it's going to be. I don't really go in with a game plan too much. I just focus on my defense and being smart and then letting it fly from there. So whatever happens, happens. But the main thing is having good defense and then capitalizing on opportunities. So I'm always looking for the finish, but it doesn't matter how it comes.
I mean, that obviously that makes sense. And you have the conditioning to go to a decision, which even though that's not the primary goal is to get a finish, however it comes. And for that, being able to have the conditioning to go to a decision can also be super valuable. Now, for you, the fight lasted a minute and 20 seconds or something, and it didn't seem like you took a lot of damage. Are you looking to do a 247 fighting championship fight July 15th at Monroeville Convention Center? Are we going to help Jim Mooney out here by you calling somebody out, or are you looking to kind of not fight the rest of the summer? What's your plans for the next?
So I'm hoping to fight one more time this summer in August in West Virginia. Because rule set, no shins and you can head kick, so that's a really big plus.
Sure.
So looking to August 2nd, most likely.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. I know that those are going to be two really big local events, the 247 event in Monroeville, July 14th for the grappling and 15th for MMA, and then obviously the August one in Morgantown. That makes perfect sense. Hopefully I'll be able to be live again and be able to watch you in action. You're fighting at 205, correct? Because you're 197 in wrestling, so 205. Is there somebody, even though it's not going to be for 247 because you're looking to fight for the other organization in August, is there somebody at 205 that, you know, because Tapology lists everybody, is there somebody in your weight category that you've kind of seen that you want to call out or that you think would be a good test? I don't know if you've gotten on Tapology, but you can search by the region, by Northeast, and then you can rank by 205. It's got, well, you're still listed as a middleweight, but
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to rankings. I couldn't tell you anyone who fights at 205 in this area, honestly.
gotcha.
I'm ready for everybody, and I'm really just hoping that someone accepts a fight later this summer. That's the main focus. Anyone really.
And I think that's the attitude because you went through 15. You are currently, according to Tapology, ranked 10th in Pennsylvania as light heavyweight, and that doesn't even count your win that you just had because Tapology is a little slow to update. So not that it matters, like you said, you just want fights. I can't wait to see you. Hopefully you get matched for that August card you want. We can have you back on to talk more about that. I really appreciate you. It's always great to have a first-time guest of the show. I kind of had to check because I thought you might have been on the show before since I called your first fight, but it's really exciting after a couple years, kind of from the beginning of your fight career to now have you on for the first time of many. Thanks so much for coming on the show. You are impressive, both physically what you can do, but also your performance and the way you're training and your dedication. It's really an honor having you on the show.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir. You've been listening to Luke Basin from MMA Fancast with first time of many guests of the show, TKO winner, Geoff Magin. Geoff, thanks so much for coming on.
Have a good one. Thanks.
You got it. You too.